Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about this new DCTV show that is moving to the DCU. Plus also we got a whole load of comments from James Gunn in regards to the DCU and specifically Superman Legacy and the suit that they're going to be using in that film and when that's going to be revealed. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year or into the next year. Okay, so the first topic we're going to talk about is in regards to an article that refers to James Gunn and some comments that he made on Threads. We're going to be talking about a lot of content that James has actually revealed on Threads, so lots of comments. And the one that we're breaking down, actually I'm reading off of a Deadline article, so we're going to break it down from here. Link will be in the description below as always. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. James Gunn is confirming that Matt Reeves is not only working on expanding the Batman universe, but also developing a series set within the new DC universe. DC Studios co-head James Gunn is answering more fan queries on social media and confirmed that Reeves is producing an Arkham series set in the Batman universe within the new world Gunn and Peter Safran are developing, aka the DCU. And so a fan asked Gunn on Threads if Reeves was working on more projects in the Batverse aside from the Batman Part 2, the Penguin series and the Arkham series, and James Gunn's reply was this: right now, Matt is producing Arkham as a DCU series. So that is the breaking news here. So there's just the two for now, which refers to the Batman Part 2 and the Penguin being set in the Batman universe or whatever they're calling it. And so before we break this down, let's go on to the next question that was asked by another fan who asked for clarification about the Arkham series set in the new DCU Gunn and Safran are working on, called Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters. The reply from James Gunn was, yes, we love Matt as a director and a producer, so he'll be producing stories both within the Batman universe and within the DCU. Gunn further clarified that the Arkham series was always planned to be set in the DCU and not part of the Elseworlds, the universe where the Batman and Joker live in. And so he goes on to say, it was one of the first pictures we bought when Peter and I came on board. I don't know the permutations it went through before that time, but that is where we're at now. So there you have it. That is the official word from James Gunn that Matt Reeves is not only going to be working on the Batman, but he's going to be working in the DCU. Now this is something that I wasn't expecting. When I heard that there was an Arkham series being developed by Matt Reeves, you just presume, okay, it's going to be in the Batman universe. Like, why would he want to get muddled up in the DCU but also work in a separate universe? Like, at one point, is he going to direct a Batman film or like a Nightwing film in the DCU? Like, it would be kind of strange, but obviously very exciting because he is a great director, he's a great producer, and we all love what happened with the Batman. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with the Batman universe that they're building. Obviously, the Penguin looks really good. Batman Part 2 is coming out sometime in the next 2 years, so we're looking forward to that. But with James Gunn confirming that he is not only working in his own universe, he's going to be developing DCU series. Like, I wonder why this was originally intended to be a DCU series. Why, when they came in, did they think it was necessary to make it linked to the DCU? I'm really not sure about the logic behind this, because I think logically it makes more sense to actually have the Arkham TV show set in the Batman universe because it's Batman related. It's set in Arkham Asylum. We're seeing Arkham Asylum in the Batman. We've seen it with the Joker there at the end of the Batman, plus also the Riddler was there at the end of the Batman. So we've already seen it, so why not set it there? Plus, if we're thinking Elseworlds, Joker has been in Arkham Asylum, so it's something that, you know, we're very familiar with in the Elseworlds stories right now, but it's not something that we've seen in, you know, the DCEU so much. We've seen bits and pieces in the Suicide Squad with Joker and Harley Quinn, but that's a different universe now. James Gunn is doing something completely different, and so I guess it just fits into what they're doing. We know there is a Batman the Brave and the Bold film that the Flash director Andy Muschietti is working on. I presume Arkham is going to be in that Batman film. Don't know what specific story they're going to be developing, because in the comics, Brave and the Bold is multiple stories to do with other characters, not just necessarily Batman. So with Matt Reeves not attached to that, like, I can't really see them linking it together. Like, is Andy Muschietti's vision going to be linked into what Matt Reeves is doing? They're not really very similar filmmakers. They're not similar in terms of the way that they think, so I just don't see how this is going to be properly attached. So I'm still just quite surprised by this, and I think at the same time it's quite cool that he's working in both. That just proves, you know, what an impact he's had on the DC universe, because, you know, he's made some great stuff in the past, even before he joined DC, but now he's going to be like one of the main figures in terms of producing and directing DC projects, whether it's in film or TV. But for now, let's move on from this topic and go on to our final topics for the video. We got a bunch of comments from James Gunn online, again, to do with Superman Legacy, to do with DCU in general, because we got a lot of stuff that we have to break down that I think you guys are going to find very interesting. So the first question was this: do you think the lack of DC content in 2024 is going to kill the brand? James Gunn's reply is, I think it's great for us, for the reset. Now, this is something that I talked about on my live stream last night with Chainsaw Reacts. It's something that, you know, is very interesting because 2023 had so many DC films specifically. Obviously, it wasn't a great year for DCTV because we had the cancellation of a lot of shows and The Flash came to an end, and pretty much right now all we've got left is Superman and Lois. But for DC films, it should have been a good year because there was so much content that came out. We had Shazam, we had Blue Beetle, we had Aquaman at the end of the year, plus not forgetting The Flash. We had 4 films in the DCU this year and none of them performed well in terms of box office numbers. Yes, Aquaman has just begun like over a week ago, so we can't really go into that. But in terms of the other projects, it hasn't been good, and there was a lot of DC content. So in regards to the question, do we think that the lack of DC content in 2024 is going to kill the brand? I agree with James Gunn. I think it's actually for the best. Like, despite me wanting to see lots of DC shows, to see lots of DC films, like, it's great to watch. Like, I enjoyed watching these films this year. I enjoyed watching the shows as well. But I think the market in terms of films is just oversaturated and we need a break. And I think, like James Gunn says, it's really good for them, for the reset, to not have anything major coming out next year. Yes, Joker 2 is coming out, but that's Elseworlds. It's not linked to the DCU. It's something different, and everyone knows that. We've got the Penguin TV show coming out. That's not linked to the DCU. Everyone knows that as well if you've seen the Batman. Plus also, you have the final season of Superman Lois, which is not linked to the DCU. And so then you move into the next year and you have Superman Legacy, and that's where things really start off. Yes, you might have Creature Commandos at the end of this year, which would be technically the first DCU project, but it's not really like a major project in terms of like Superman Legacy or The Brave and the Bold or Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Like, those films are being kind of targeted and seen as very important for the brand and, you know, kicking stuff off. So I think overall it's going to be good for the reset that there is no DCU projects, and they're not rushing it. They're taking their time. They're going to get started with Superman Legacy this coming year in March 2024. That gives them over a year until their release date, which is, I think, in July 2025. So they do have a long time to work on it after they finish it. So that's a good thing. But let's move on to the next question. This one goes like this: with the use of practical sets, would you also use the volume for Superman Legacy, or are the sets too big for that? James Gunn replies, sets are too big and my cameras move too much, so they won't be using the volume. The volume is that 3D kind of set that they use, which is like, instead of a green screen, you saw them using it in the Batman. It looked great with the sunset scenes, you know, on top of the buildings. And you've seen that a lot in Star Wars. I would argue it looks better in the Batman because they do it way more subtly. And so, obviously, in the case of Superman Legacy, he's aiming for it to be a huge film. He's going to use massive sets, and his cameras move too much. That's just his style. So it makes sense that, you know, they would be avoiding this. And yeah, there might be green screen, obviously, with Superman flying. But I don't think the volume is necessary here, and James Gunn agrees with that. Now let's move on to talk about Superman Legacy and the costume that is going to be worn by David Corenswet. So we've got 3 different comments on threads and James Gunn replies to them. But before we get into that, remember James Gunn previously said that the Superman Legacy costume will be revealed after they start filming, but not necessarily like later. So it's not going to be like after they finish filming, it will be like during filming, because in all likelihood, if they film outside at all, we're definitely going to get behind the scenes photos, getting a look at the Superman costume, and James Gunn is super aware of this, so I'm pretty sure at the start of filming they're going to go out and just take a photo or take a teaser video and get fans hyped and be the first ones to release it, which is definitely the right thing to do in my opinion. But he goes on to say this in reply to this question: trunks belong on a Superman costume like the S on the chest, also the emblem on the cape. If there will not be a Superman costume, then don't make a Superman movie, create a new superhero if you don't like the real Superman design. And I completely agree with James Gunn. This is an extreme point of view. James says the costume has changed in many ways throughout the years. They are all or mostly all valid versions of Superman, with or without the trunks, with or without the yellow S on the cape, with or without the black around the S, with or without the mullet, and on and on and on. So that's his reply, and I think that's a great reply because that's my opinion. There's no one definitive Superman suit. I don't think the trunks necessarily belong on a Superman costume. It's not necessary. You can see it with Man of Steel, you can see it with Superman Lois. Like, those suits are some of the best Superman suits that we've had, and they don't have trunks, they don't have the S on the back of the cape. I don't think that belongs on a Superman suit. I think the new modern version of a Superman suit is what you see in Superman Lois. That's just my opinion, and so I'm glad James Gunn agrees with that, but we'll see what they do with the Superman Legacy costume. Let's move on to the next comment. The next one says, probably we are going to watch the suit by the first time in a bad quality photo by a filtration. Isn't it best to show the suit before with good quality? James Gunn simply replies, we don't shoot for over 2 months, so naturally, and now this is me talking, they probably don't have the suit ready. Like, they are still working on the suit, they're probably still developing it, getting all the materials right, getting the look right. So why would they release it now? They can release it in 2 months time. And so I think people are getting quite desperate. Obviously with James Gunn replying so much to people are desperate to see stuff. And yeah, of course this comment makes sense. Like, of course he's going to release a photo or a teaser video like the Batman did for the costume reveal, because why would you want, you know, leaks to be the first one to do it? So it makes sense, but just be patient, guys. Be patient. It's going to shoot in over 2 months time. Probably see it then. So we don't have long to wait, guys. A very similar comment is the final one we're going to go over. So this is in reply to James Gunn once again. He says, don't you want to hype the movie? We know what Superman's suit looks like. Why hide it? And James Gunn replies, do you? Are there trunks or no trunks? Which is a very witty response and quick response to this person. We don't know what the suit looks like, guys. We don't know. Like, how can you presume exactly what it's going to look like? It's not going to look exactly like Superman Lois. It's not going to look like Man of Steel. It's not going to look like that version in the comics that maybe you really like, but maybe some other people don't. Maybe James Gunn doesn't like that. Maybe he doesn't like the S on the cape. Maybe he likes it plain. Maybe he doesn't like the trunks. He doesn't want to use the trunks. So we'll have to wait and see what it looks like. But those are the comments that I found very interesting, because it seems like a lot of people getting quite frustrated and want to actually see more, because James Gunn is talking so much that I think people are like, okay, so just release it, right? But I don't think the costume is actually done. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video get out there. But for now, subscribe and turn on notifications if you are new around here. And you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video. But for now, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see